We were working, 24/7, working in very, very rapid cycles with very, very short deadlines and milestones. We were working in a very, very nimble, hyper-consumer-focused way. So, for example, we talked with, even though we only had 90 days, we actually talked with, as part of the process, 18 different groups of consumers, about 73 consumers in all fused in this kind of maelstrom of pizza, Mountain Dew, and all-nighters, and idealism. That kind of led to the magic that was produced.
This may sound like just another VC pitch, but actually there are two suits from D.C. Todd Park, CTO of the HHS, and Macon Phillips, the White House Director of New Media, talking about their new website, Healthcare.gov. The HHS had 90 days to put the site together, a sort of Geico or Expedia for health insurance. To get the job done, Phillips says they borrowed ideas from the Valley and even found their web designer from Twitter.
It doesn't look like your normal website because I think the websites that have been coming out, particularly during the Obama administration, but even more recently, look towards the private sector, look towards what's happening everywhere else on the internet.
If you could explain and walk us through this website. So it's healthcare.gov. People sign on and they can learn about the new legislation, and they can also find, I guess, the best insurance plans for themselves on the website. So talk us through the main features.
Sure. The marquee attraction on the site right now is the Insurance Options Finder. So it's the first time that basically all public insurance options like Medicaid or the Children's Health Insurance Program or the new pre-existing condition insurance plan and a comprehensive array of private insurance options for individuals and small businesses have been all amalgamated onto a single site. And even more importantly, that inventory of public and private insurance options hasn't been dumped on your head like an encyclopedia, but rather is accessed by you through this elegant finder where you answer a few questions and boom, thinking through about 3 billion different scenarios, Healthcare.gov presents to you a customized list of public and private insurance options that may be right for you.
When it came to putting together the site, Macon, you mentioned that it was a very small window overall to get this up and running. It sounded more like what a startup would do than what a typical government agency would do. I mean, the government is notorious for being very slow and very bureaucratic.
It's not true.
Well, that's the reputation, right? So what was different this time? Why was it, a fairly quick project to put together?
Well, I don't want to make Todd put Todd on the spot, but I think a lot of the credit goes to Todd and the team that he was working with. The team had a few new faces, but the majority of the engineers and the content people working on this project at HHS had been there for a while. And I think it just took a project like this, and I would argue some leadership from folks like Todd, but really something, a really concrete, specific goal for them to coalesce and come up with something that really shows what they're capable of. So, it wasn't like we brought in, this team B to sort of in parallel go, create this new thing. I think we just asked the existing folks to think about things a little bit differently, and it yielded something that's better.
Yeah, so can you give us a backstory also to that web designer and how he came around to joining your project?
Yeah, and that one's kind of a fun story. So it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't all the same people. There were a few additions, and one addition is just sort of, I think, speaks to the serendipity of the internet and how these things come to pass. The bill was signed. Todd immediately was part of this working group. It was like, oh, wow, 90 days. Gee, thanks. Let's figure out what we can do. And there was a designer in Jersey City, New Jersey, who I connected with because he tweeted his design of what he thought the exchange, which is the insurance marketplace that comes online in 2014, would look like, because he thought it would be really helpful to show the public, this is a visual thing. It's not a fact sheet. It's not a speech. It's, here, look at this, and it'll help you get a sense for what it could be. Well, that was great, and it was one of many things that, many suggestions that we got. But I printed it out, and I would show it to people, and I'd say, look, this is the sort of creativity that's out there. One thing led to another, and he left Jersey City to come to D.C., and just a few days after he got here was already right in the trenches with the team and helped push us through an information architecture process, asking questions like somebody from outside of government who doesn't understand the acronyms, doesn't understand the alphabet soup.
Yeah.
Really, gets what it's like to be, running a small business, what it's like to look for your own healthcare insurance. It was asking some really great questions, and it, I think, had a really positive impact.
So from a guy on Twitter to the President of the United States, you had a lot of people involved in the process. So President Obama, he did his own video that kind of did a walkthrough of the site. Did he also give you feedback along the process, tell you what he wanted as part of the website?
I think the short answer is no. I mean, he didn't swing by the workshop and say, we need to put that sidebar button a little bit higher, or that font, let's go with the sans serif. That's not his style. But I think he does understand and pushes all of us to figure out how we can, in everything that we do, including the online program, really try to empower regular people.
Did he have any specific feedback for you guys?
On the site?
Uh-huh.
That he thought it was pretty easy to use. I mean, he was able to plug in his zip code and see options, and he just sat down and runs through it. So, I think that's ultimately the greatest feedback we can get from anyone, is that they're able to sit down, look at it, and sort of get what they need out of it.
Yeah.
Get that information that they're looking for.
Yeah. So, Macon, my final question today is, now that you have this under your belt and you're looking at different strategies, initiatives across the White House pipeline, what else are you trying to do to push the White House agenda forward when it comes to the internet and to, like you said, empower, connect with the people on Twitter or wherever they might be on the internet? So,
we're doing a number of things from the White House, and we've got a pretty robust social networking presence. One of the specific ways that we're using social networks from the White House itself operationally is to try to figure out how we can have ongoing engagement with the public in terms of questions and answers, helping unpack and talk about issues that span from the Gulf to healthcare to Wall Street reform. Whatever the major issues are, it's a huge resource to be able to go to the web and say, hit us with your questions, let's see what you guys want to know, and we're able to respond to that.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you guys come up with next. And so if anyone's interested, the site again is Healthcare.gov. And my guests today have been Macon Phillips. He's the White House Director of New Media, and Todd Park, the CTO of the HHS. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
Everyone.